thinking about my words about that last post. So like, the world is that individual that the solar catalysm had shed sparks and tried to, you know what I'm saying? It just so happened. Like it is posed, like that's all that it is. And our spark, we all feel special. You know what I'm saying? We get to pick our words and like, you know what I'm saying? Like we can get off beat, we can like, you know what I'm saying? Like we can clap how we want, like, you know what I'm saying? Pose, like regular things. However, before our selectivities, there was nothing except compatibility, pose, or alignance. You know what I'm saying? The magnetism of a spark from the solar catalysm cooling and continuing its magnetism according to the temperature and vacuum of the unknown has magnetized and accrued its individuality. Literally just these things from nothingness, because the sun would be everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, because without that there is no temperature source. However, that grew together. So you only have outer space, and then you have whatever catalysms there were posed. Our catalytic start pose, like, you know what I'm saying? Like our catalytic beginnings are derailed by our oil sourcing, our like, how do we have these consciousnesses and we have parasites that are not, like, they don't work together? However, the magnetism has balanced everything out to limitlessness for itself. You know what I'm saying? So here is not, I explained in depletions and naturalization of selectivity, as in growing. The world was growing before our effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have to do anything. We were eating. That was it. Nobody even knew to drink water until they were thirsty. Because being birthed, like, you know, the first creation has to be as simple as, you know, for those to change into, this was a tree. This shit was a tree. Yeah. I don't know what plastic is still to this day, but it is not something that I would look at and think I'm supposed to eat that. Like, and when I interact with it, pause, I know for a fact I'm not supposed to eat that. I'm not supposed to eat the lid on this can. Like, I'm not supposed to eat this bottle. So. There's nothing else I could do with my life except what I'm supposed to, without the selectivity's predecessor. Pause. So that was why I made that post. I know everybody's special, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do for themselves. You know, well, that's what I do in my life. I'm trying. Like, I don't even think about my own losses because it doesn't change my experience. Like, I went to school, I dropped out of school. I didn't learn what I'm speaking about right now in school. I went to med school. It has nothing to do with elemental, like the chemistry of it. Like, I used to, like, I didn't want to go to recitation. Lab is cool. I didn't want to learn formulated expressivity. It made no sense. As is like it's memorization. However, the nomenclature makes no sense because it could all be simplified, knowing what it really is. But what it really is not what it is requested, labeled. You know, so like I didn't appreciate it. How long have we been depleting what would gift our first losses their real win? And there's no reason to even wonder about the reason. You know what I'm saying? We all have an inclination of doubt when it's something that we don't want to know. Nobody wants to know that. Right? I don't know how far I gotta walk. Just keep walking. Right? I wouldn't want to know how strong I gotta get to save everybody when what's stronger than everybody could save itself. Seeing as to get that strong, one would have to grow with everything that it did not design. You know? So, I didn't want nobody are confused or like, cause I use words that like most kids is gonna understand that and see. No, my great grandparents could get a new consciousness because their conscience is alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things think of them, do things because of them. However, their consciousness, like their their conscious is alive, but their conscience, what they are to themselves, has changed. Pardon me. Their conscious is a verb, like, so like what they did with themselves is alive. Conscience is or yeah. So stop fucking with everybody, yo. Like, just ignore everything. The world wants to grow like it used to before somebody thought about how it was, so forget your emotions. You can't deplete what magnetized everything it was supposed, like everything that it did before becoming demagnetized, before demagnetizing, according to something that it surmised. I didn't even think about like oil depletion that much when I was young. Like, now every day is the same thing. Like what really? Like, because it's I can understand that, but it does become a localization regardless. So when is the final localization of entirety? Like, and that was where I got to with regifting life. As in, alright, this used to be a tree. How do I get that? A new, because that is like, a tree cut and then how it's supposed to for that specific functionality. I could not just put that in soil and have it grow. Like, it is like I would have to end the production of that. I'd have to end the production of those and groom it. I have to grow with how that grows back into the tree that it was. That's why I was like, alright, so like, what could a body loses its functionality. However, everything that was in said such, like, has nothing else to connect to except for the terrarium or firmamented magnetization. It should not leave itself or leave what it was gifted and become helpless. Like, like, it's at the most it would become static electricity and it would still magnetize the elements, because what it really is it's not the material that was magnetized to itself or from the spark cooling as it was. Like, it's the gift of not even decision, just creativity, like, is a part of it, but is most so word an entirety on its own, and it can't become less of an entirety just because the entirety isn't whole. Like, it's not gonna stop driving its body to drive the world. Like, it could wander, it could become a different functionality. However, it really could only get a new individuality from the remagnetization of instantaneity. Because it's not like a leaf growing out of a tree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. Similarities, regardless. It is not that vulnerable. It is not that left to externality. So the welcoming of a new consciousness, creativity, is to grow the world again, like delay. Because instead of depleting the oil, it would be sowing the seeds, or deciding which creations outgrow limitation swiftest, you know, and things of that sort. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's not about. I don't even think it's about thinking about what that is. Like, I think it's real life, just because that is a real unseen in individualism. Like, these are organisms. They're not individual in their beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that is, like, there's only one save file per one of these. Like, no matter what. That is the one experience that these have. Like, one save file per one of these. Like, no matter what. That is the one experience that these have. Like, everything else, like anything happening to it, is known and experienced as something outside of it. So that one thing would not lose itself or change from its one individual entirety. And that is the gift of selectivity. And I would think the magnetization of that individuality, however, it's not thinking about it or just like, no, it'll come into this. Like, it has to, we would have to grow the world until a new flower that does not have that that seat inhabited, you know. That's word. It's like word, like it's not welcome them into a new fruit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, however it is, whatever these are, they're most compatible with that. Like, they are most congruent with the selectivity that is most special about our experiences. So to remagnetize these elemental compositions to a new arising of